System online. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop.
Welcome everybody to this week's Bot Talk. We have something a little bit special planned. This should be the last of our orientation videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Robot HQ. I'll explain all of the items in the vendor, what they do, what you need them for, and if you do need them, there are a few that you don't exactly need. So we're going to head on over there and do that. I will see you all over there. All right, here we are at Robot Headquarters, and we're going to start with the account kiosk. You use this to create your Buildables account. If you look at the signs on the wall, it explains how to do it. All you have to do is touch it. It registers you, gives you a password. Most of the website you don't need an account for, but you do need it for the My Bots tab. If you have a buildable that goes missing, and they do occasionally, that is how you get them back. On your My Bots tab, it would show as missing, and then you use one of the items from the vendor, which we'll explain in a bit, to return it. And moving on, we're just going to kind of go around the room, guys. Here we have the Outlaw Board. This is a nice little addition to the system that gives you a chance to win a little bit of extra money. There are 4 robots on this board at all times. Their value goes up the longer they're on the board, and I've seen this board go up to 20K. So there's that. If you build one of these and you recycle it, you will get whatever their reward is at the time of recycling. If you don't have a recycler, which is one of the vendor items, we'll get there, that doesn't matter. You can pass it to somebody that does, and you don't need to worry about that person being honest, because the system pays the builder, not whoever does the recycling. Now we're just going to move along here. This vendor here is built specifically. You can get a few buildables type clothing. You can get a few actual buildables avatars. So if you want to be a spider, or there's a chipette on the screen right now, you can do that. There's a fair few of them, and I'm sure he may be adding more. We'll move along a little bit more. This is the staff online board. If you need help, I mean, as some of you know, when I'm online, I'm on duty. All you got to do is drop me a message. But you can always come over here and look at this board to see who is on to lend you a hand. And right underneath is a suggestion box. If you have a robot idea, put it on a note card and drop it in this box. And a small note on that. You're much more likely to get the robot you suggest if you tell Bill a story. If you can make him see that robot in his head, you're much more likely to get it. Now, along the rest of the wall here, we just have, these are all the products at single vendors, but it'll be easier for me to use another vendor and just scroll through. So we'll move along here. Now, this vendor here, there are actually 2 types of recycler. We'll cover them here in a moment. But the second type, the Crushinator, you get points for robots you've recycled. Those points can be used in this vendor to buy specific Buildables products. That is the only thing that it is for, and this is the only vendor where you can use the points in. And you can basically do all of your buildable things with this vendor. It doesn't have all the products. It has more necessary ones. Now we're going to come over to this vendor here, which I've just put out so it's on its starting screen. And displayed now, this is the Buildable Starter Pack. It includes basically everything you need to get started out. It has power and oil for 2 robots for 1 week. It has a 10 building pod. which when you set it out, it reses your first 2 robots, leaving you then 8 builds. And you also get 10 display crates. So there's basically everything in here you need to get started out. As I've covered in other videos, though, while there's nothing wrong with the robots that you get from this pack, I give all new builders a free pair of something they like. Now, this thing here, this is the Buildables tablet. This is a nice little gadget. It's not strictly necessary for building, but it does a lot of things, and it can make life easier. Basically, it does everything that it can make your robots do anything you need them to do, for the most part. So, nice gadget, but not necessary for building. The Buildables portal, this is free. This is what you use if you have a missing bot. You know, we just covered the website a few minutes ago. If you have a robot that goes missing, once he shows on your list, you set this out and you use the website to return him, and he will come out of this. This is something that you need. The Megapod Gems version. In our last video, you all saw me use one of these. This is a building pod. It's limited to 25 builds. Once it's empty, you have to buy another one. It's $7.49, and when it comes to building, this is your main expense. This is an auto update crate. You set it out, you touch it, any of your robots you have out that are not updated to version 2.21, this is supposed to go to and update them. A small note on it, though, if you have a lot out, it can tend to miss them. I prefer the single version. This is the Crushinator. This is the recycler that gives you the points that you use at the vendor that I showed you a few minutes ago. The points received depend on the robot's build score. So the higher the build score, the more points you get. Buildables gift crates. If you're going to give buildables for birthdays or Christmas or whatnot, you can get these special crates to put them in. They're basically a normal crate, but they're dressed up with, ribbons and wrapping and whatnot. They're not expensive, and they're a nice touch if you're giving robots as gifts. I do that frequently. These are display crates. This is the 100 display crate pack. If you want to have crates for a fair while, this is what you want. And of course, as some of you know and some of you may not, to be taken into inventory, a robot must be in a crate. So these are a necessary thing. If you have a broken buildable, you would use these guys. You can get a pack of 5 of them from the vendor. Aside from that, I have a million of them in my shop for 10 lindens a piece, or if you need them and you contact me, I'll probably give you what you need. So these are only necessary when you have a broken robot, and they're also buildable, so at some point you may build some as well. This is the Cratenator. It comes with 100 crates loaded in it, and it's refillable, so you can put more in it when it goes empty. This is a cute little gadget. It's not strictly needed for building, but it has a nice little animation. You touch it, a crate pops out, rolls down the conveyor belt, and then drops off the conveyor belt for use. So, certainly not needed, but a nice little touch if you want to have a few visual effects. The Omega Pod. This is an unlimited building pod. You pay it, and it builds a robot. It's pay per use. If you yourself own it, you get a certain amount of linden from each build, so you can actually make money if other people use your Omega Pod. I don't prefer the Omega Pod because you can't see the robot being built. This here is a pack of 25 display crates. they're the same crates as you get in the 100 pack, only there's 25 of them. And again, these are a necessary item. This crate here, if you send a robot to this crate, it will add one level to whatever his current level is. The small caveat on that is each robot has a set max level, and if they're at their max level, sending them to this crate does nothing. And these are one-use crates, so once you use it, the crate poops. So it's a one-use thing, and you wouldn't want to waste it on a max-level robot. This is the unlimited oil package. Basically, if you have this, you can set a copy out wherever you have robots, and they are fed forever. It's one of the nice things that makes Buildables more affordable than probably most other breedables, if not all. This is the unlimited power facility. It's the same as the oil, so once you have it, you never have to buy food again. And it makes, again, things much cheaper. And I forgot to mention with the oil, and it's the same with the power. If you have the unlimited variety, there are 3 versions in each folder. A 1 prim decal, which is generally what people use. There is a middle-sized one, and there is a large one. They each have different animations and different prim counts. But if you're going to set up some sort of a display, you might want to use one of those. But just for prim usage, the 1 prim decals, and they all work the same. This is the BattleBots stat board, which goes along with another product that we'll cover in a moment. But if you are into the BattleBots and are fighting your robots, generally, this is not something you personally need to have, but whoever owns the battle ring that you're fighting will probably have one of these. And speaking of the battle ring, this is the BattleBots battle ring. Anybody can own one of these. Anybody can use one of these. So, I mean, you can buy one of these and put it out on your land and hold basically your own Friday night fights. There's such a thing in the works right now by a certain group of people, and the more the better, I always say. These are special crates that you put your BattleBots into when you're going to fight with them. To be fought with, it has to be not only a BattleBot, but it has to be in a battle crate. The ring itself opens the crate for you when you're going to actually fight with your robot. We've already covered the auto update crate. This is the single update crate, and the one that I prefer. You send a bot to this crate, he goes in, and he comes out version 2.21. In some shops, I certainly know that you'd find them here and there in mine. You will get crates. A robot is whatever version of crate he comes out of. And I know I have some older version crates in my shop. So that's what you have this for. Because a robot can't be built unless he's version 2.21. He would get kicked off the pod. This is a power Tesla. This is the smallest limited quantity of power that there is. This would feed 2 robots for about a week. This is the power silo. It is a somewhat larger food source. And as you can see on the text here, it gives 10 robots power for about a week. I mean, that can fluctuate a little bit, but generally, about a week for 10 robots. This is an oil drum. This is the smallest oil source that we have. And just like the smallest power, it'll give oil for, 2 bots for about a week. This is a slightly larger oil derrick. Just like the power version, 10 bots, oil for a week. And that they each have somewhat higher prim counts than the one prim decal you would get with the unlimited power. These are the large oil containers. These are the largest oil supply that is not unlimited. One of these will feed about 50 robots oil for a week. And the nuclear reactor is the power version. So again, it'll feed 50 robots power for about a week. It's the largest non-limited, the largest limited that we have. This is the original recycler and what I generally recommend for newer builders. If you send a robot to this recycler, there's an option for it on his blue menu. He will come over to this unit, the robot will be destroyed, and you will get some sort of an item back that will help your other robots along. There are various ones. Also, if you have built an Outlaw, this is what you use to gain your reward, or again, that you can pass to someone else, and the system pays the builder, not the who recycled it. And that concludes the vendor tour, because we're back to the starter pack. So I've gone over all the products. Basically, the things you need are the power and the oil, display crates, and one or other of the building pods. Things like the Cratinator and the Buildables tablet, while cool gadgets and very useful, are not strictly needed for building purposes. We've covered the account kiosk, and of course, anybody that sees this video, if you join Buildables, if you have any questions, you can contact me in World. My name will also be in the video description. If you're new and you're interested and want a pair of these, I will take you over to my building fields and let you choose a pair of something you like, and I'll get you all hooked up. So I'm definitely a dope pusher, I suppose. I've covered that in one of my earlier videos, so you'll get that joke. But I think that concludes us for this week's Spot Talk. We've pretty much gone over all of the products now, and I hope to see all of you very soon. And remember, boys and girls, every build begins with a spark.
Feedback! Stop! System error. Shutting down. Offline. Clay. And transmission. Shutting down. Offline. Clay. And transmission.